Hey guys, welcome back to Simply Swider, your #1 appliance troubleshooting channel. Tell me, do you keep finding puddles of water underneath your Whirlpool washer? I mean, something that looks like this. Well, believe it or not, this is an issue that many washer owners have had to deal with. And, yes, it often occurs due to a number of reasons. That said, experience has taught me that leaky washer problems are messy and tend to worsen if ignored or not handled properly. So today, I want to help you answer 2 questions. Why is your washer leaking? What can you do to fix it? If you're ready, roll up your sleeves as I walk you through 7 good reasons behind a leaking Whirlpool washer and what should be done to rectify the issue. If you ask any seasoned repairman or woman for advice about a leaking Whirlpool washer, they'll most likely tell you this: check your washer's drainage system. And if they're precise, they'll advise you to check the drain pump first. Why is that? Well, your washer's drain pump has one major job: to get rid of wastewater at the end of a wash or rinse cycle. So, what do you think would happen if the pump is cracked and tries to drain the washer? Yep, you guessed it. The pump's pressure will force water out through the crack, resulting in a leak. And there's no telling the horrors that might befall other items in your laundry room. With that in mind, it's important to note that even the tiniest crack can cause major problems. That's why I and many other experts always recommend inspecting the pump first. And here's how it's done. Step 1. Safety comes first. Therefore, unplug the washer and wipe off or dry any water on the floor around it before you start. Step 2. Grab your trusty Phillips screwdriver and remove the access panel. Step 3. After ensuring there's ample light and the part is clearly visible, give the drain pump a once-over and clear out any blockages you find. Step 4. Reassemble the washer and run a test cycle to see if the issue is resolved. If the leak persists even in the absence of cracks or blockages, it's time to do a multimeter test on the drain pump. Step 5. If the pump is defective, check your washer model number and start shopping for the right replacement. Step 6. Carefully install the new water pump in your washer and put the washer's cover back on. Then, run a quick test cycle. Obviously, if the multimeter test in Step 5 shows that your water pump isn't defective and you're sure it doesn't have any cracks or clogs, then the problem lies elsewhere. Like I said, washer leaks can be caused by many issues. Now here's a quick tip: you can never be too careful when shopping for a replacement part. So, stick to Whirlpool or trusted online sellers that are recommended by the brand. If your washer's pump is working just fine, the next culprits on your list of suspects should be the drain hose and pump filter. Why? Because wastewater that's removed by the drain pump goes through the filter and into the hose for expulsion. Therefore, if there's clogging in the filter or hose, the water pressure buildup will force it to leak. Imagine, 1 second everything is going great, the next, you're knee-deep in colored, soapy fluid. In simpler terms, water under pressure will always find new, creative, and destructive ways to get out. That's why, to begin with, this is often the #1 cause for loosened contact points, cracks, and punctures in a washer's drainage system. But what if clogging isn't the issue? Well, chances are that the filter isn't tightly installed or there's a puncture or crack on your drain hose. For example, here's a picture of a punctured drain hose from a recent repair call. When I saw this, I knew right away that it was the source of the leak. Unfortunately, not all related repair jobs are that straightforward. Sometimes, I have to work hard for my daily bread. That said, you should know that the drain filter is responsible for barring gunk, debris, and other types of solid waste from reaching your drain hose. This in turn greatly minimizes the chances of clogging inside the drain hose. But it's only effective if you do frequent drain filter cleaning. Anyway, here's how to diagnose and fix this problem. Step 1. Safety is always top priority. So, unplug your appliance, wipe off the leak, and ensure your washer is sitting on a dry surface. Step 2. Locate your drain filter and dismount it. Even if it's not so dirty or clogged, make sure you clean it. Step 3. Check the clean filter for cracks or signs of damage. If you can't find any, mount it back into the washer. And make sure it's tightly installed. Step 4. Use a screwdriver to remove the back panel so that you can access the pump filter module where the drain hose connects to the rest of the drainage system. Step 5. Check the drain hose for kinks, punctures, or tearing. Then, remove it and run some water through. If the water doesn't flow freely, there's a clog. And to fix this, run a wire or plumber's snake through the hose until the clog clears. Step 6. Reinstall the drain hose and make sure that you tighten its contact point with the pump filter module. Step 7. Reinstall the back panel and run a test cycle. The leak issue should be resolved. Note, if you notice damages, cracks, or punctures on the drain hose or filter, you'll need to replace the affected part. However, if both of these parts are all good and your washer is still leaking, double-check their connection points to ensure they're snug, tight, and secure. Now let's talk about the door seal. This is the rubber seal lining around your washer's door. Basically, it keeps water from leaking through the edges of the washer door. And that means, if it's damaged, punctured, or worn out, you'll have water all over your floor. Here's an example of a damaged door seal. For most washer owners, this might not seem like a big issue. After all, the washer was still working flawlessly, said one client. Unfortunately, for such a problem, things tend to worsen gradually. Yes, it might start as a small leak, but give it time and you'll mop up the mess with every piece of cloth in your house. My advice? You need to act as soon as you notice even the smallest tear or damage to the door seal. As Josh, a Simply Swider technician, puts it, regular checks and proper cleaning go a long way in increasing the longevity of your washer's door seal. A dirty seal leads to a not-so-snug door and subsequently leaks. For this, here's what you need to do. Step 1. Following the instructions on your user manual, take out the door seal. Step 2. Grab a damp cloth and give the door seal a good clean. And make sure you clear out any debris, coins, buttons, or fabric stuck within the seal. Step 3. After cleaning, check it for damages and signs of tear. If any, you'll need to buy and install a new seal. Step 4. Run a test cycle to see if the leaking has stopped. Remember, the best way to avoid these seal leaks is by making sure it's always clean and free of debris. The motor coupling is a small but significant washer part that can cause leaking troubles. You see, this small piece links the motor shaft to the direct drive transmission. And since it's made from plastic and rubber, it's designed to break and ultimately sacrifice itself to save your motor when the load is too much. Sadly, when it snaps, the motor coupling could cause water to leak from the transmission shaft. Usually, the leaking will be visible from the bottom of the washer. Here's something I always tell my clients. The easiest way to tell that your washer's motor coupling is broken is by looking for the following signs. 1. The leak is coming from the bottom of your washer, usually around the transmission shaft area. 2. The appliance isn't agitating or spinning properly. 3. There's a loud noise coming from the bottom of your washer during agitation or spinning. If your washer problems match this description, then you should start shopping for a new motor coupling. But, just to be sure, here's how to check for and fix this issue. Step 1. Unplug your washer. I won't get tired of singing this. Step 2. Take off the access panel and then the motor retainer screws. Step 3. Take a good look at the motor coupling. If you notice any damage, it needs to be replaced. Step 4. Like Chrisfix always says, out with the old and in with the new. Swap out the broken coupling for the new one. Step 5. Piece everything back together and run a test cycle. If you do it right, the leaking should be a thing of the past. And remember, you don't have to go at it alone. If such a repair feels like uncharted territory for you, it's 100% fine to ring up a pro technician. For washers that are still under warranty, all you have to do is give Whirlpool customer support a call for assistance. Now don't be too shocked when I tell you that the leak could be coming from your washer's outer tub. The thing is, despite going unnoticed for the most part, the outer tub plays a pivotal role in a washer's operations. Basically, this part is responsible for holding the water you see in the inner tub during a cycle. So, think of it as the component that allows water and your laundry to hang out during a wash cycle. Anyway, the fact that it holds water means that it can cause leaks in case it's damaged or has cracks. Sometimes, it could be that its drainage path has loose connections. I dealt with a similar issue just recently, and here's a photo of what I found. In this case, the client's washer had a massive hole on the outer tub and was leaking profusely. Basically, water was pouring out just as fast as it was pouring in during filling. With that in mind, how do we get to the bottom of this? Well, you literally have to get to the bottom of your washer, pun intended. Step 1. Start by removing the access panel so that you can have a clear view of the outer tub. Then fill the inner tub manually using a garden hose. Step 2. While the water fills up, pay close attention to the outer tub. Check for any leaks or signs of flowing water. Step 3. If you spot a hole on the tub, you can call in an expert to help you seal it properly. And if the leaking hole can't be sealed, a complete tub replacement will be necessary. Yep, your Whirlpool washer could be leaking because it's overfilling. And that's often caused by a malfunctioning pressure switch. So, yes, if you've checked all the other issues discussed in this video to no avail, this could be the sneaky culprit you're searching for. In case you're wondering, what does the pressure switch do? It's the part that monitors water levels within the tub, or the trusty minion that notifies the control board when it's time to stop filling the tub. Think of it as your washer's guardian against overflow or overfilling. That's why you're in for a leaky ride if this component malfunctions. Lucky for you, testing and replacing a faulty pressure switch is very easy. All you need is a multimeter and a screwdriver to remove the access panel. Here's how to go about it. Step 1. Disconnect your washer from its power source and carefully pry open the access panel with a Phillips screwdriver. Step 2. Locate the pressure switch. Step 3. Inspect the pressure switch and circuit board for any obvious damage, and then use a multimeter to test for continuity. Step 4. If it's faulty, use an adjustable or crescent wrench to free the pressure switch from its harness. Step 5. Get and install a brand new, up-to-task pressure switch. Step 6. Reinstall the access panel and run a test cycle to ensure the new pressure switch is on top of things inside your washer. A word to the wise, make sure you reinstall the pressure switch correctly to avoid a continuation of the troubles you've been facing. If it's your first time replacing this switch, I'd advise you to take photos of the old installation before attempting the swap. Let me guess, you've checked every part of your washer's drainage system and everything is working perfectly. Plus, the motor coupling is in top-notch condition, the outer tub appears to be leak-free, and your pressure switch is working optimally. So, what's causing the leak? Well, the last possible suspect would be the water inlet valve or the two inlet hoses. After all, these are the only other parts that handle water directly. Note, when the inlet valve or hoses are clogged, damaged, or defective, it could cause your Whirlpool washer to leak from the back. Now bear in mind, the inlet valve and hoses have one job, to fill your washer with water. That might seem like a light responsibility, but remember, they bear the brunt of water pressure fluctuations and minimal deposit formation. For example, a few weeks ago, I replaced an inlet valve that was so clogged with debris, limescale, and dirt that water wasn't flowing through freely. Here's a picture. Over time, there will be limescale or debris accumulation on the valve screens, and that leads to a buildup of pressure. Do you remember what I said about water under pressure on issue number 2? Yes, it will always find new, creative, and destructive ways to get out. Therefore, at some point, these parts may become defective due to the wear and tear and pressure buildup, eventually resulting in a leak. That being said, here's how to check and fix this issue. Step 1. Unplug your washer, wipe off the leak, and pry open the back access panel. Step 2. Based on the instructions on your user manual, disconnect the wire harnesses and dismount the inlet valve. Step 3. Check the water inlet valve for a breach or deterioration of overall integrity. Also, inspect the screen filters for clogging and debris accumulation. Step 4. If it's defective or shows signs of giving in anytime soon, it's time to get a replacement and do the necessary. Step 5. Inspect your inlet hoses. I know most people tend to ignore these, but if you want to live with a leak-free washing machine, you must consider all possible causes. So, ensure you check them for clogs, tears, punctures, or limescale buildup that may be causing too much pressure on your inlet system. Step 6. Don't forget to run a test cycle to ensure you've nailed the problem. At this point, I'm 99% sure that you've fixed the issue causing your Whirlpool washer to leak. More so, you've learned some things you didn't know about your trusty appliance. But if you're not yet out of the woods, don't sweat it. You can always call in an expert to help get your washer back to running leak-free. Well, that's a wrap for this video, my friends. I've unraveled all the potential causes and fixes for a Whirlpool washer that's leaking from the bottom. This video is based on the vast experience of my colleagues and myself, of course. If you have any questions or you feel that I've left out something, feel free to leave a comment below. As always, your support means the world to us. So if this guide brought you any relief, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more appliance saving tips and tricks. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, a solution is always within reach. See you in the next video.